Oh, look at that! Every single time that intro starts, I kind of geek out a little bit. Well, we got ourselves an interesting show. We do not have my partner in crime. Dell is working. He's being a working man, and he has to do a soft opening tonight. And here we are. So I had to get a couple of new guys to replace him because it takes two guys to replace Dell. That's not a knock on him. He's just that his ego's so big that he needs two guys to fill. We're gonna go with Charlie Lost Boy. Look, there he is from Lost Boy Comics.
Hey!
And I don't know what the hell happened to James. He's around here somewhere. We'll skip Comic Uprising. I'm pretty sure he's gonna join in a little bit. In the meantime, he'll get back in. Look at that.
Hey, hello. Okay. No James. Now, where's James at?
I don't know. He just literally disconnected.
Well, he wanted to get something to drink, so maybe he's raiding his fridge. And big shout out to Dell, too, man. We miss you, buddy. I was kind of bummed, like, you're not going to be part of the show. I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, there he is right there. Dell at Fowler's.
Yeah, but he's doing a soft opening.
He's doing the soft opening, and I'm hoping the...
dirty, but...
right. Well, yeah. I got your soft opening. So here we go, everybody. James is trying to. Hey, James, I don't know what's going on, but if you it looks like he's trying to connect. You know what? It could be weather. I don't know where it's at. I think he's in North Carolina, South Carolinas, one of the Carolinas. No Dale Guzman tonight. TRB. No.
Dale is here in spirit. He's working at the coffee shop.
Dale is working at the coffee shop, and he's doing what he can. He's working at Scooters. So if you're at the Scooters in Texas, something.
Yeah, we don't have that in NC over here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. John Boy, where are you at now? You still in LA?
No, Northern California. I've been up here 11 years now in NorCal, like Silicon Valley. So
NorCal. How's the weather up there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's totally different from LA. I'm kind of more of a LA person than Northern LA because they're practically like two different states, really. So.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's all right. It's still California. I don't know if that matters or not, but I don't know. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. Charlie, let's go for those who may not know. They may recognize the face, but just tell them who you are, how they can locate you, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I am Charlie. Lost Boy is what my name is on all the socials. We own and run Lost Boy Comics. We have a shop and website, and we're here in Washington, North Carolina. We specialize in slabs online. Slabs all day, every day. Speaking of John Boy.
Oh, hey, there he is.
That beautiful green sig right there. Yeah. But I'm super excited to be here and help Dell out since he's drinking the caffeine.
He's drinking the caffeine. And John Boy, I know you probably don't need introduction, but you know what? I'm stalling for time because I'm trying to get my buddy James on here. So go ahead.
What's up? And big shout out to Jake. Jake, I understand when we moved from SoCal to like Northern California, it was a bit of a shock for us because we thought the food was going to be great, and the food is great when you go into San Francisco, but around here it's not so great. It was a bit of a shock for us too, so I feel that pain. But I am comic book artist John Boy Myers. I've been doing comics for a long time now. Most people know me now because I mainly do covers, but I also do interiors still. And I've worked for Marvel and DC and Boom, pretty much every major and minor publisher in the business I've worked for.
Hey, there he is.
There he is. That's my spiel. Let's hear about James. Comic Uprising. Tell us all about you and your shop.
Okay. So just kind of got a IG shop going right now. Hang out with a bunch of good guys over at they call themselves the Protect and Serve. Caesar does all the reels for them, and I love comics. I have way too many of them. I have found a home on Instagram to sell and probably collect more than I sell. In fact, I know that for a fact. But more importantly, my biggest thing on Instagram was I do this positivity push and making sure the community all comes together, and I absolutely love that. So I stay on that train. So I do stupid deals like $2 books and crazy giveaways and dumb things like that, just to put smiles on people's faces. So
hey, that's cool. That's awesome. Hey, Chad, what's up? Yeah,
I tell you what, when Comic Uprising goes live on his shows to sell books, if you're not there because this idiot gives away books for such a stupid price that you think it's like I'm gonna get a box of bricks, and he took my money. No, man, he just loves giving. I don't know how he does it.
You still got to make money though, James. You got to make some money though.
He
has
an eBay store, right? I mean,
the eBay store, but more importantly, I was in the real estate business for many years, and I was able to retire pretty young.
Nice.
Obviously, yeah. And but in the real estate world, I got to meet a lot of artists, and I know a lot of Disney artists through that. Oh, wow. And so art has always been in my life. Art got me out of the bed and started walking when I got hit with an 18-year-old problem and put me into a major surgery that I had to relearn how to walk. So I have a different perspective, I guess, that I'm on borrowed time at all times. So I just kind of kick it and have fun. I just believe in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he does it by giving back to the community, and we give back because we tune in whenever he speaks, because as he says, one of the things we like to do on this show is try to preach a little bit more positive. There's a lot of already shows out there, a lot of podcasts that really do focus on the negative, which is cool. Don't have a problem with that. That's their thing.
It's not my thing, man. That's like
we try to hey man, we try to help you out, and it's all about the positivity and
life is tough enough, man. Why do you want to?
Life is hard. Yeah.
Yeah, life is bad, So, here he goes. So there's always the same.
There he is.
He's drinking. It looks like he's drinking like an old fashioned. I think Charlie's drinking a little old fashioned. He looks pretty.
It is actually tequila.
Tequila. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
A tequila old fashioned.
And then what are you drinking there? Yeah.
I'm drinking good old eggnog that's got a lot of rum in it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, Captain Morgan's is the best in there. That's pretty good stuff. So.
Yeah. So
you got a big boy there, right?
Well, I got is this
water.
I was gonna say I hope that's water.
So, all right.
Okay.
What does he say here? I look like Father Time. Well, you know what? I'm more distinguished.
Why does Charlie look constipated?
Yeah.
Charlie does look constipated.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Is that better now?
So, John Boy,
yes.
It's been quite a year, huh?
Yeah, it's 2023. Just kind of like the older you get, the faster time moves, man. And before you know it, it's like another year is already upon us. Like 2024 in a couple of weeks. Did a lot of shows. I think I did over 16 shows this year, which is a lot because I usually do 4. But
wow.
I'm doing a lot with the Fan Expo guys, really great crew, and I'm doing a lot of their exclusives for them. So, I always like to go to the shows and sign autographs for free and everything like that. Make sure everyone gets their books and is good to go. And it's always good too to go to shows and just kind of see art friends that you haven't seen in a while and reconnect with people. Because the art community, especially in comics, we're so spread out and we're so we're like hermits, and then when we do see each other, it's like, oh, we pick up right where we left off. I mean, I haven't seen somebody in 5 years, and we picked up right where we left off in our last conversation.
More shows in 2024?
Yeah, probably.
Great question.
Probably, I think maybe 14 shows, so 2
Holy
less.
Shit.
So, but I mean, there's 2 that I kind of want to add. I'm on the fence if I want to try to get into New York this year. And there's a show called Lightbox in Pasadena, and one in Burbank called CTN that I was thinking of would be kind of cool to do, which both of those, the last 2 shows are more like animation, video game, kind of all art centered, not just comics. So might be kind of just try to do
that brings up something really quick. Could I just ask a personal question on that?
Yeah.
Blizzard, when I was looking into your backstory, you worked for Blizzard for a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I freelanced for them for almost 10 years. So doing
That's like ridiculous. I still play WoW to this day.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah.
No
So
pun intended.
I have 2 massive statues up here of Illidan and
oh, you got the good one.
Savannah's. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Right. Yeah.
So when I was reading up on something, I know all your comic stuff, but that I was like, okay, video, gaming.
I did stuff for the TCG game back when I think Cryptic Studios had the license to do the WoW card game, and I still have one of those like AP cards they sent me too. So, which is kind of cool. And then then that switched over. Then they lost the license. I think then it moved over to Hearthstone, and then all that stuff got repurposed for Hearthstone, which is kind of nice. I mean, we didn't get another check for all that, but I mean, it's still nice to do it all in a digital format because digital is the way to go. Mobile is something, but there's something cool about playing with a physical medium that's a lot more fun because you're actually interacting with somebody right across from you, like 4 or 5 people, and you're playing a game and you're reading each other's reactions and having a good time. And it feels more communal. It's as much as I think it's fun to play with your friends over the net, I think always kind of like in real life is a lot better, in my personal opinion, because it's more about the social connection, and you're getting up, having a good time. You're kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of good that good dude time or good girl time or whatever it is. Cause like, I think men in general need places where they can kind of talk and vent with each other and talk about things that
very important,
there's just things sometimes you just don't want to discuss with your wife, cause it's like, well, you're not a guy, you wouldn't understand. Like,
sure.
You talk with other guys and you kind of get a different type of perspective. It's a way of venting. I think that's kind of lost a little bit. It's like the playing card games back in the day where you drink beer and smoke stogies, and nobody does that anymore.
It's funny you say that because we talked about it on the show. My wife gives 2 shits about what I do in this room. 2 shits. Hell, 2's too much. She gives no shits of what the hell I do in this. Meaning. She's like, oh, okay, have fun with your toys, and
enjoy your nerd stuff.
Yeah, go do your thing, And it's like she's married to Professor Frink all of a sudden. Hi. Well, thank you, nice lady, for letting me play.
Well, I think she knows that you probably need this, and she probably trusts you. It's like, hey, you're not going to do anything on here. It's more about like talking about things you love and you're passionate about.
If she only knew, I just look at strippers every Wednesday night instead.
Oh no, she has a browsing history. She knows.
Oh well. So, anyways, so last time we had you on, John Boy, we had you on the old podcast. Yeah, this is the first time on the new one.
We had 6 people on that time. I think
it was a lot of people.
Super bananas, yeah.
And at one point, you were in the middle of packing. As a matter of fact, you were about to move to a new house.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, John Boy, I know you're busy, man. If you got to jump off," and you're like, "Are you kidding me? This is the only time I get to geek out because my wife also doesn't care about this kind of stuff, and you can't geek out as much." So I see.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to talk to people who kind of like share that same passion, because it's like when ladies get together and talk about shoes or purses. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. So ours is just this is our thing. So
well, unless you're Dell, he's also into that stuff. So nerd guys make
game, man.
Husbands. Well, I tell you
Facts.
My wife will never have to worry about me cheating because I'm like, unless I'm cheating with Wonder Woman or Punchline, you don't have to worry about it.
He said Punchline.
That wall in your room back there, like I don't think you'd want to part with half of that collection if that came down to it. You're like,
No, he's getting buried with it.
I'm getting buried with it, and some of the stuff has to do with James too. Actually, fortunately, he's like my pusher.
You want this? I got it. It's a good deal.
Yeah, I'm a dealer.
He did. I don't want to give up. But
he's like, hey, look, I'm only making $100 on this, man. All right, this is a big I'm gonna put
he knows the lines. How.
Listen, I got a deal. I'm not gonna throw out numbers, but he put a book out there, and my fingers couldn't type fast enough. I'm surprised I didn't say claim. I probably read like claim because I was typing.
I think it did.
Right.
Yeah, and I knew it was Drac right away.
Let's just say I got it for maybe $400 under.
Hey,
man, that's
So
but that's what
like,
a lot of money.
James is like, what?
But
Yeah.
Maybe John Boy, you can attest to this though. At the end of the day, art is art, and it's pen, paper. It's fun. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah,
and
I
that's what brings everyone to the cons and things like that.
Yes.
And if you can get a good deal, that's the candy box or the opening the pack of cards, and you get the card that you've always wanted
right.
moment. And man, I just love seeing that out
That's
of
the thing
people.
when you buy a mystery box and you're like, okay, am I gonna get the special sketch thing? And you're looking at it like, oh, I got the crap box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your
Yeah,
friend gets
that's
it. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
happy for you. But I think that's the cool thing about it, because like as a dealer, you can hook up your buddies and you're still making a little bit to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
Yeah.
always great to kind of share that love with people who are like minded. You know.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I-
you
Is
know,
it that way for you when like a super fan comes walking up to your, like, I'm curious because we open these boxes and we're like, oh cool, this is
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't- I think for me, like I'm a super fan when it comes to like guys like Arthur Adams and Dave Johnson and Joe Madureira and Scott Campbell and all these guys. Like, it's I don't know. Like for me, I don't look at myself as like I've made it, and I don't look at myself as like some. I'm glad that people like my work, and I just want to continue to do great work that I feel like is relevant and that people enjoy, and that is kind of in the same stratosphere as the people who inspired me, like Arthur Adams and Joe
Right.
Madureira and Jason Pearson and Scott Campbell and Michael Golden, like those guys. Like for me, it's always about like, because I used to do shows even when I was trying to break into comics, and I would always collect and buy comics even as a little kid. So I mean, the geekdom is strong in me because that's like, like meeting fans and then finding out what they like, and we like the same things and talk about those things. It's always kind of nice because I think for me, I never want to connect with people just over my art. I want to connect with things that we have in common besides art. I mean, I'm glad people like my art. Like, please keep buying,
Sure. Yeah.
but, I mean, like it's, you meet so many cool and interesting people, and then when you kind of sit down and talk to people, I'm always kind of curious about people's stories, like what did they do for a living, like how did they get into comics, and it's usually somebody like this situation where somebody shared it with them, or their dad shared it with them, and it's something that they've always kind of kept going, and they want to share it with their kids, and
Yeah.
the kids are there with them like, hey, how do you guys like comics? And they're like,
Yeah.
All
right, John, so I have a small question.
Yeah,
I had a guy come in the shop, and he's a big Venom guy.
cool.
And he wanted your Venom. He loves your Venom over others, which I think is amazing.
Wow.
What do you feel like is your best character that you've drawn?
Honestly, I don't know, but I would say like drawing characters like the monster characters like Venom and Spawn
Yeah.
are when you draw characters that are kind of like monstrous, like Hulk or Venom or Spawn, you can really kind of go a lot more crazier with it. Like editors aren't so picky on what type of images you turn in, because it's characters are meant to be over the top. So I kind of like doing those kind of like the hulking, monstrous kind of creepy characters are always kind of fun to do, because you can push it a lot more. But as far as having like a favorite, like nah, because like here's the thing about when you're working in comics and you get a cover assignment, you always try to do your best to find something you like in that character, because that's somebody's favorite character. So you want to make sure you're treating that thing with respect, that character with respect, that you're showing it in the light that it deserves. And sometimes if I feel like like I think one of the characters I have a lot of trouble on is Green Arrow. Like I have like maybe one or two good Green Arrow covers in me, but I don't like the Green Arrow at all. Like I think Hawkeye's way better. Not to say that he is, but I'm just saying like,
it's funny.
Well, you kind of just put it out there, my friend.
It's funny you say that. We had Ivan Tao on the show, and this question came up about what do you like to draw, and he's like, if I don't like the character, it's hard for me to draw him.
Yes, very hard.
It's just if I'm not into that character, I'll draw it, but my heart's not in it.
Right.
You know, because
And
I
it's
think
hard to get the best out of you when you do that. You know?
Star Wars. I think we asked about. He goes, I'm not into it. So
Yeah.
it's I'll
Oh,
do it, but it's just.
I can see that in him.
I'm
That
gonna
he's
have to
not
talk to Ivan. I'm like,
huge
look,
fan of
we
it.
gotta
Thank
sit
you.
down next time you're like, look, man, we gotta convert you, buddy.
Oh, I listen. I told Ivan, you know, it's his fault. Obviously, he says, I know it. I'm bad Ivan, as he says, bad Ivan for screwing up the whole visa thing. But he's hoping to come back, hopefully next year to come to the States.
Yeah, he was just in Singapore. They just had the Singapore show. And I
Yeah,
was
the
seeing
Singapore show.
pictures
Yeah.
online. So yeah, it's like
So, question. I
Mhm.
don't know if we asked you this before, but like I said, it's a lot of new people here and all that stuff. So if it's repetitive, I apologize.
No, that's all right.
What? Who's the artist that you met that you geeked out on?
Well,
That's a good one.
Like Arthur Adams, man. Like I was sitting right behind him at the San Francisco Fan Expo that was over Thanksgiving Day weekend. And you know, like art is like probably him and Michael Golden are probably the progenitors of modern comic art, as far as like a lot of most of the guys that came out in the 90s, you know. Today's kids, I don't know like who were the ones that inspired them. For me and my generation, was really Arthur Adams and Michael Golden that were the guys that really kind of were springboard for us, you know. And Paul Smith too. You talked about the TMNT cover there, Jake, but you know, so for me to say that I know Art and Art knows who I am and is like really, he's friendly with me and he's very nice and cordial to me, is like a really big deal. Because I'm like, oh, Arthur Adams, ooh. You know, like I'm still that way with all my heroes, like Joe Madureira. Like I had lunch with Joe in Austin, and I felt like I made the biggest ass of myself because I didn't know how to act. So I was like, keep it together, be cool, and I'm just like, oh. Joe, you're awesome. And he's like
Battle Chasers, man, dude.
Yeah, Battle Chasers.
Oh, your art on that though, seriously, that was awesome.
Yeah. I got to do some covers too, which is great.
Yeah,
so I got to do 3 covers. I was like, yes, cool, let me know, like I'll do more, because I mean it's good to like give back to artists, especially on their creator owns, whose work means a lot to you. It's a way of kind of giving back, you know, because you're never going to be able to repay those guys for inspiring you, you know.
Have you done the Godzilla cover?
I did a Godzilla cover. It comes out issue 3. It's just Superman, a tiny Superman versus Godzilla, a huge Godzilla kind of towering over. So, which is kind of cool. So, which is weird because I was like, oh, is that gonna be issue 1? He goes, no, it's gonna be issue 3. I was like, oh man.
It is like Jake says, it is kind of interesting when you meet someone that you really look up to and you meet him for first place, and you feel like that fool is like digging his heels in the ground and going, so how's that local sports team? You know, it's like,
oh no, because you're just like, I don't.
What do you say?
What do I talk about?
What are we talking about? I joke about the first time and every time I met Francis Ford Coppola, and I met
he's
him.
A very nice guy, man. Yeah, he loves film.
Super guy. And we sat, not sat. I had it anyways. My past life when I drove cars and stuff like that. I met him. I gave him a car. We were walking to go pick up the other car, and I was like, "This is Francis, the Godfather, and all that stuff." And the first thing comes to my mouth is, "I really love Dracula."
Dude, Dracula is a massive,
and because I do love Bram Stoker's Dracula, I do.
He loves Dracula too.
But Godfather, I mean, come on, right? But I'm like, I really like. He's like, and he looked at me like, really? That's out of all the movies, that's what you're asking. He's like, well, thank you, I appreciate that. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. You know, and I was this close to saying, but why did you cast Keanu Reeves as a London guy with the worst English accent? You know.
And he would have probably taken it and had a full conversation.
I would have said, hey, at the time, Keanu Reeves was hotter than
Mike Mignola did all the storyboards and the character design, like costume design for that, as far as the 2D costume design and stuff. And
I didn't know that. That's cool.
That's one of those movies that you can, if you want to learn how to do storytelling for beats, like you just kind of like turn the volume down and look at it and watch it. And, oh, hey, what's up, Austin? Hey, right on. Yeah, no worries, man. Anytime, dude. Gotcha, man.
Yeah,
So.
he gave you some major accolades. Hey, John was gonna be on, so if anyone wants to watch,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like, he's the coolest guy. He hooked me up. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to do it, man. He had a Berserker number 1 he wanted me to sign, but I only did a one-time thing signing those, so that was it. That way, whoever got them signed, they're like, hey, they're like, that's it.
Limited, yeah.
Those are the only ones that are going to be signed. But anybody who asks, I usually just send them a signed print, like 11x17. Like, hey, there you go, check it out.
Do you think about that with resale value of your own stuff?
Well, you know,
because that keeps a collectible aspect from a collector, you know.
Yeah, I want it. Well, there's kind of like a weird story to it. I don't know if you guys want to hear it or not.
Of course we do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this happened during COVID with that cover. Like Keanu, of all the like 20 covers that were done, Keanu picked that one to be the special 1 of 1,000, which is a huge honor. And they're like, hey, Keanu was going to sign all these. And I'm like, well, hey, I would love to come down and sign those too for retailers. I was like, why don't we get the whole team now? Because they're like, well, Matt Kidd's going to be here. I was like, well, dude, why don't you fly Ron Garney out? I'll fly out on my own dime. We'll sign all these books. And I get my book signed by Keanu and the whole team. That would be great. And they're like, nah, it's COVID. And, we don't want to risk it. And we don't want anybody to be around when that's happening. So I was like, oh, damn. All right. Okay.
Bummer.
So,
yeah.
Right.
2020. So, damn.
A couple of years later, I didn't sign any at shows, and then I did my first CGC signing, and they're like, hey, we're expecting a lot of 1 of 1,000 covers to come in, and I had done something previous to that where when I got my comps in, I got them all CGC'd and signed, and there were just 10, and I took half of those and auctioned them off for charity. So I knew this is going to be a special book. So I was like, hey, look, you know what? This is going to be a one-time thing where I'm going to charge like $1,000 a signature, and whoever wants to get them signed can get them signed. And that's the only time they're going to get signed. And people were kind of up in arms about it. They're like, how dare you sign that for that much? And I'm just like, look, man, like, the way I was looking at it, like, if anybody misses out on that, because you spent like probably $3 or $4 grand to get that book in the first place, at least. And then if somebody misses out on getting them double signed, then their single signed book is instantly worth less. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, look, that you don't want to stick it to retailers like that for people who miss out. So I was like, look, I'll just do this a one-time thing to double sign books, and it'll be $1,000, and that'll be it ever. I won't send anything else. And so I did it, and it was, I think, a total of 6 or 7 signed. That was it. There was only one Russian copy that was signed, and that's all that's ever going to be signed, and that's it. And I think for all those collectors who did pay to get it signed, like one guy was selling it on eBay, he was asking for 40 grand. So yeah, it ensures, in my mind, it ensures that the few who got it, their investment is doubled because it's something really special and it's never going to be done again. And then those people who only have the single signed, those still retain their value because it's still Keanu signing it, and then John Boy just did a special signing with X amount, and that's it. Because I can't imagine doing a one-time signing and charging $20 for everyone to get their copy signed, and those who missed out, like their book will be worth less. So like, well, there's double signed ones, and so
it does suck if you were to pay for limited signings, like say there's only going to be 10 signed, and then later on, they go, we're going to do it again.
No,
and it's like, wait a minute, but I paid X amount because I thought there was going to be 10 in the world.
Right.
Now you're doing now you're doing another 30.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Ryan Kincaid, what's up, buddy? Sorry, I had to say hi. Right. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Like I think I try to maintain a high integrity with things that I say I'm going to do, and one-time thing is a one-time thing. I'll never do it again. I even told CGC this is a one-time thing. That's it. I'm never doing it again. Like that's it. And people have asked me, cool. It's like, I'll pay the $1,000 to do it. And they shove money in my face. I'm like, I'll do it right now. And I'm like, look, man, it's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
Like, this
principle
thing. It's the principle. And like, look, man, like as cool as having an extra $1,000 or a couple grand because a couple guys want it done would be, I just like, look, man, like, told people it's a one-time thing. It's a one-time thing. But I was like, look, you can reach out to those guys who have double signed copies and see if they'll make their deal. Like, hey, so
do you get flack from fans? If
Oh
you don't
yeah,
like,
for that. They're saying, well, I mean, you get called a lot of names like I'm greedy and I'm raking the coals and things like that. But I think the thing about it is like, you know,
But in the same breath, you literally said you do signings for free
Yeah.
at cons,
well,
and people can't correlate that.
Well, I used to do signings for free until people would turn around and have me sign a big stack and it ends up on eBay. So
Oh well,
I
yeah.
stopped doing that. But like for everybody who asked me for a signature, like I even at Boom, they got hit up all the time. I went and printed 11 by 17 prints on my own. Like it cost me like $400 to get it done. I sent them to Boom. I sent 100 of them to Boom to give out to fans at shows. So if they're asking about getting the thing double signed, they can just give them a print. And I still do that when people ask me at shows. I keep a couple and I give them, I was like, hey, look, I can give you this at no charge. Like, hey, thanks for supporting the book, you know. But you know, people, like I think people can say whatever they want at the end of the day. Like for me, like I did a charity thing. Like I've done stuff with that issue to try to do a lot of good and you know, just some guy to like, you know, diarrhea of the mouth to say that. Okay, well, obviously you don't know. Because like, you know, I did a second signing and people like, why aren't you signing Berserkers? I'm like, well, because this is why I explained it to them. But, you know, people are like, well, you know, I got this from Boom. Ha ha ha. I still got one. I said, yeah. I was like, dude, I gave those to Boom and I printed them up on my own dime. So yeah, you're welcome. You know, it's like, hey, like, you know, it just like I think sometimes that's the bad part of fandom. Sometimes it's just like, you know, people can understand. Like Austin was really cool about it and I really understood. I'm like, hey, look, you know, I would like to send you a print anyway. Just like, hey, look, I still want to support you and say at least you still have a signed Berserker copy. It's a print, but it's still something that you can have. You can still get your book slab. You can still do all this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, you know.
I applaud you.
Seriously,
from the collecting aspect as a collector and a reseller and just a person, that's an integrity move that you're making, in my opinion. You're keeping
people don't look at it like that. You get a lot of hate mail, but I mean, I appreciate it though. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like you like if my word doesn't mean anything,
it's like an AP print though. To me, it's like an AP print though. If they like, I'm big in the art district, and if a bunch of APs showed up when I have like 1 of 5, and all of a sudden there's like 20 sitting out there, I'm like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah. You have to disclose real numbers because people aren't going to care if it's like 20 limited 20 AP. Like, okay, at least I know. And bet you get told 1 in 5, and you say it's 1 in 5. And like, well, no, actually it's 1 in 20, and you're just like, why would that guy tell me that? Like,
right. So you being you have all the power in that, and you hold true. I thank you for that from an industry standpoint. So thank you.
I just want to make sure everyone who paid a lot of money for their books, whether the double sign or not, are those books still retain their value, and then those who got them double signed, then that's a real plus for them, and I think that's what makes collectability special, because at some point, you know, I think artists should stop signing certain copies of things, because, you know, the more of that thing out there, the inherently the less it's worth. You know, you always want to do something special for collectors. So
can I ask the group a question on that same vein?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, friends.
What do you guys think about all the reprints that are happening? Like all these foil covers and the reprints of the original art. It's kind of, to me, diluting. It's not even about the story anymore. It's about reprints and foils and all that stuff. I was just curious, even you, John Boy, what do you think about the industry doing so much of that? I'm curious.
I think it's a twofold thing, because they need the money, probably. 1, 2, what I'm saying, they need the money. Publishers probably need the money. 2, they're trying to reprint those issues for new collectors who can't afford to buy Days of Futures Past or whatever at a back issue bin, and most of those end up being slabbed, or, you know, it's a lot of money. You're just like, good gravy, you know. So
that's a good way. Good gravy.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think that's part of it too, because I think there is such a demand from COVID on back issues now. That I know people who actually hoard a lot of the back issues now, especially key issues. And I'm just like, dude, like, they're like,
hey, see, we're not talking about you, Caesar, I promise.
Right. No. I think
Son of a
people,
bitch.
it's a free market. Everybody can do whatever they want, but I think it's just like, I think that's what Marvel is doing, that to make it affordable. Because come on, like a Hulk 181, like
Yeah.
like dude, there's no way I'm going to be able to actually read an actual
Right.
copy of that. No one's
Right.
going to let me. They're not going to let
Correct.
me open that up at
Yeah.
like
Well,
they're going to be like, you need
Yeah.
to pay for this first.
Let's buy it raw, and you flip through it, and then you get it graded. If you're not, and just
That's
keep
right.
it raw
Yeah.
and read it, and all those oily fingers and ruin the fucking
There was
book.
one on eBay that looked pretty good. It looked like it was like very fine condition, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna bid on it, and it went for like $5,500, which
It shouldn't.
pretty cheap.
It
Pretty
shouldn't.
cheap. But for me, I'm like, dude, like I need a $5
So,
grand job.
so this is okay. So, same question to you, Charlie, because I know that John Boy had this. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I have people come in all the time, whether it's in the store, online, emails, messenger, whatever it is. And they want to have the physical book that's been recreated from 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, because they want to read it for the first time themselves, and they can't afford it. Neither can I, and many people, nor do you want to flip through that book. I had a giant size X-Men, the reprints came out like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yep, that's right.
And it was the first time that I personally flipped through that book to read it on paper. And I'm like, okay, I really understand why the reprints, and I agree that there's the money part that Marvel and whoever else needs. We get that. But there's definitely a huge market for people, new collectors, old collectors that can't afford things. I think it's incredibly important, instead of keeping that gate closed, to spread it wide open for everybody to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my only thing, I wish they would have printed it on the same type of paper.
Yeah.
Like the authentic, baby, like head to toe. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the foils get a little like you.
Oh, there he goes again.
Wait. He's back. He's back.
Jeez, James, you're killing me.
That was that outrage. He's like, outrage.
I tell you,
the money grab a little bit,
but my view, and it's very simple. I don't give a shit. It's not my money. People want to buy it, they could buy it. I know what I collect, I know what I love, and I know what I'm laser focused on getting.
Right.
If you want to buy 400 reprints, if you want to buy 700 foils of the same book, I don't care.
Right.
Knock yourself out. Make more money for the
Have you
industry.
guys sold a lot of those too anyway? Have they been successful when you ordered them in? People picked them up?
So many. I do pre-sales on 9/8 books, and they fly off the handle, because instead of people being able to afford that slabbed $80,000 book, they put the $50 book on the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's important.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes perfect sense. But the thing is, if nobody did buy them, then they would stop making them less and less.
Oh, they wouldn't be.
But the thing is, since there's still a market for it, people are still buying them. You heard Charlie, they fly off the walls. Well, they're going to keep making them and making 400 copies.
It's a reader copy. I think the thing that drives me nuts the most is I was flipping through an Alpha Flight #1, and I saw one of those black and white or black and yellow Mile High advertisements.
Yes.
Oh, that's a whole different story.
No, I flipped it open and looked, and Hulk 181s were $14 each.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
tough.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, knowing him, it's now $14,000 for that same book up in the wall. Like, he won't sell. It's just getting sun faded. So,
if we only knew, though, we can go back in time and say, look, little kid, I know you love buying comics, and $14 must be like $1 million. But if you buy 5 of these in like 20 years, you'll thank me.
One time on the show,
that'd be amazing.
One time on the show, I took out a 1994 Wizard, and we started reading through the very
Those were
back.
so fun.
The very
Those
back,
so
right?
great.
The guy, it's how much is my book worth now? $5. Sweet. I only paid $1.
Oh man, that. You're singing to my childhood right there.
Oh, Wizards were. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that now you can buy a 9.6 for, X amount. And they actually, to ever think that a wizard in good condition would go for X amount of money.
Yeah, I used to have all of those, and I just chucked them. I'm like,
right.
I used to highlight them. like
Yeah.
what the ones I had.
Yes, exactly,
Right.
exactly. But
So-
think about it. We're over here talking about it, how it reminds us. It reminds us. That's exactly why it costs so much, because we all want that again.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
want that.
Nostalgia is one hell of a drug.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
nostalgia is one hell of a drug for adults with money.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I wish were a little cheaper for people, that comics were a lot cheaper. But you're I think we're coming up against the issue where these are owned by like bigger conglomerates, and you can't really, you're forced to make, profits every year. You know what I mean? You have your financial goals you have to hit every year. So it's
There you go.
the days of cheap comics are long gone. I don't think.
Yeah.
Red has a point. I'd rather buy the artist time and get them a beer and fun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Red's
well,
a good dude. Yeah. Red's a good dude. Yeah.
That's what I love about all the sketch covers. We've, as collectors, have been able to come to the artists like you, John Boy, and say, "Hey, can you do something like this?" And you're like, "Yeah, dude," and that's entered
Don't tag you, Anna. Sorry. Okay.
a whole new level of collecting, because now we're back to the art and actually I wanted to, I don't know if we can spin topics a little bit, but I wanted to ask on a personal level. You were talking about your childhood, and I did some research, and you were talking about the war comics that kind of got you going, right? Would you do a war comic? Do you like drawing that type of stuff?
Actually, Paul Jenkins, who is my collaborator on Spawn, we talked about doing a war comic. So, which I would love to do. So, I think he's got some things on his docket right now. So, and I'm working on creator-owned things. So, but maybe after that gets going, maybe take a break, work on a war comic would be great. Because I mean, that was my first introduction to comics was war comics. It was Sergeant Rock, and then which I liked, and then Enemy Ace, which I thought was cool. But then he's kind of a German, so you're kind of like,
Yeah.
Feel kind of bad.
Damn my 25%.
Yeah, they were like, but Enemy Ace was cool, right? Because he was like the guy who, the Enemy Ace, the guy who fought with honor, kind of in the air. But my favorite was the Weird War Tales, like Creature Commandos and stuff like that. Unknown Soldier was actually cool because he was like, he wore all these disguises and was different people, different things. And,
Creature Commandos, are you excited?
No.
Oh.
No, it's more kind of a goofier, jazzier Hollywood version of it, and
Okay.
the old Alfredo Alcala ones were pretty like kind of hardcore, hardcore war comic. Like it dealt with the fantastic, but not really fantastic. You know what I mean? It was like watching Frankenstein rip apart German soldiers is like pretty cool, right? Oh, thanks. Red's a very nice guy.
Yeah,
Red's
that guy's too kind. You know, many of you guys you may or may not know. So this year I met John Boy. I did a turn and burn, and I flew out to Denver Fan Expo.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on. Yeah.
On a Saturday, and strictly to meet the people who we've had interviewed for on the podcast, and John Boy is one of them.
Oh, wow.
So I got to meet him, and he was sitting right next to Ryan Kincaid, and I met a couple other guys who were there. And
he was like a table and a half down.
He was, yeah, table and a half, and then I met Gary Gunn and Russell, Russell, I forget his name.
Is it Dotterman? No.
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. William Russell. Sorry.
Oh,
Russell was there, and oh my God, Martin Zavala was there with Avocado, and so I literally went. I want to meet these guys, and so I saw John Boy, and I go, hey, and he stood. I'm like, this guy's yoked. Look at this guy.
No.
Well, maybe compared to me, I don't know. I don't know. But you look pretty big. Either you wore that shirt extra tight. I'm just saying, John.
No. Like I actually need to go back into the gym, man. My wife's like, "Hey, getting a little what's going on there?" I was like,
a little fat in the can. Yeah,
pushing for the cushion.
Yeah, because like I think I think as an artist, like it's really important you gotta try to take care of yourself, because I've got so many friends who have so many health issues nowadays, and, like since COVID, it's been brutal on the art industry. A lot of people have been keeling over, people I know, and my wife's like, look, you need to take better care of yourself, like, because she knows I love chocolate. And it's just like, she'll like, I'm eating like a chocolate cake or a cupcake. She's just like, hey, fatty, what are you doing? I was like,
Jeez. The
well,
love is strong.
Hey, dark chocolate's good for you now. Don't forget.
yeah, I think I eat more than my core. I think I eat her portion and my portion together. So she's kind of like, you kind of.
You just say you're helping her out. I don't know.
I got to get back in. Thank you. You're very kind. So you got very kind, guys.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Kyle Willis had a major
good to get
scare.
right back into the gym and kind of take care of myself. I think for all of us though, because like especially if you guys got kids, you want to be there for a long time, and like with a lot of my friends passing away now, you kind of realize that life is really, really short, and you kind of here and you're gone, and you always kind of want to make your time count. And it's just like, hey, if I'm going to go, it's not because of heart attack from like bad diet, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
there was a time there where we were losing a lot of the greats.
Oh yeah, like Neil Adams.
It's Neil, and it felt like it was like boom, 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 boom. Like, what's going on here?
Perez, Adams. I mean,
like Andre Brower, the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine who played the police, just passed away yesterday. I was like,
61, right?
Young,
some crazy number like that. No, like, oh, come on.
So take care of yourselves, people. Take care of yourselves. Yeah. We all want to live long and buy more of John Boy's books. And that's the other thing. I felt bad. I told John Boy, I feel like I have to buy something. He's like,
oh no, you don't have to.
I don't buy anything. I'm like, good, because I don't want to buy anything because I don't collect modern. So, anyways,
well, go on eBay and buy that Berserker.
Yeah,
that'll be fine.
How much is it going for, the Berserkers? You saying
unsigned now? Like, there's a whole story to that too, because Boom found like 250 copies and they just sold them retailers for cheap. And I'm like, dude, the retailers paid like $3 or $4 grand to get that book, and you're gonna sell for like maybe like $250. I'm like, dude, like you should just burn those copies and show retailers that you have their back. Like,
should have, yeah.
Hey Shannon, what's up? Sorry.
That happened with Michael Turner. I got some sketchbooks 2007, and Michael Turner's near and dear to my heart because he dealt with a lot of issues, clearly. And I ended up getting a sketchbook that said OP on it, overprint, and I did not know what that meant at the time. And that's the retailers just punching them back out in the world after the 750 run happened. Mm-hmm. I'm like, damn, that sucks. Because now people are like, well, that's a black market book. Right. I'm like, damn it, So I don't like when I hear that. That sucks.
Well, I think for those things, like, you're in a position now where you can actually probably buy that issue now and do it the right way. But I think as a kid, though, too, like, you got to remember, like, when you meet your heroes and you want to connect with their work, like, like for me, hunting down Michael Golden Micronauts issues or even Arthur Adams X-Men annual issues, like, back then people like wanted $20, $30, $40, man, and like might as well be like $100 or $200 to like a 16-year-old kid, man. I'm like, dude, like I can't afford it, man.
And not only that, telling your parents, hey, can you buy me this?
Oh no, my parents are like,
right.
Get the hell out of here! I'm not gonna buy you a $30 book. What are you?
That's exactly like it's just a paper book. Like, aren't your comics not like 40 cents? What's wrong with you? And I'm like,
so speaking of Fan Expo, my question to you, John Boy, is out of all the cons you went to this year, which one was the one that you could secretly, silently tell yourself, holy shit, there's a lot of nerds here. This place is packed.
You know what? If you've never gone, I would suggest you go. I think I was pleasantly surprised. The Toronto Fan Expo Toronto show was an amazingly huge show. Lots of comic fans, true blue comic fans, and it was really packed and really busy. Like that show floor was 3 levels deep, and it was stacked, man. Like signing books nonstop.
Did they have good Wi-Fi? That's the question.
No, they did not. But I mean, like there's never any one show because every show kind of has its own charm. Even the ones that are kind of like not great sellers for you guys, like when you guys are there as retailers, you can always look at it and say, this is maybe the universe telling me I need to go around and buy from other retailers because maybe I can get a good deal on stuff that I really need. Because like if we're not selling, then maybe then my money's worth has a little bit more cachet. I can say, well, hey, knock off $20, man. Come on.
Well, I have a question. So how are the Canadian fans compared to the neighbors?
They're just like us. Like they love comics.
They're
They
people too.
They're,
Yeah, they're like,
Canadians
"Oh,
are
great,
people
so
too,
great."
John.
You know, they say sorry a lot more. I'm so sorry. I have all these 20 books for you to sign. But here's some Canadian dollars. You know, but no, it was a lot of fun. Like they're just like US fans. I mean, they geek out over the same things. Like it's just I think it's always great. Like I'm sure when you guys are at shows, you just meet people and you want to connect and kind of find out what their story is again. And like, hey, where are you from? What do you do? And like, oh, how'd you get into comics? And I don't know. I think it's always kind of interesting how you get to meet people, and it's kind of nice that it's just like, because I think when you start meeting people, you kind of figure out you have a lot more in common than differences. Because I went to a show in God, where did I went to Kuwait, and
Oh wow.
they love comics out there too, man. And it's thinking like,
Who knew?
Yeah.
well, like there's so much that we have in common with people all around the world. That's like, golly, man. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
I actually heard a saying in the hospital when I was in the hospital that if you put two strangers in a room together, they have more in common than differences.
Yeah.
You can take them from opposite sides of the world. And it gave me hope when I was in a pretty bad place in the hospital.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think people have a tendency to surprise you if you give them the opportunity, both good and bad. But you know, usually when you're feeling low, you're always hoping that there's someone there to kind of pick you back up. This is why it's always good to have friends and people kind of being there for you. You know, because I mean, like life is a lot of ups and downs, and you're celebrating. You're on the mountaintop one minute, and then you're in the valley the next. You know, looking for water. You know what I mean? So it's always those things of having that hope and kind of like getting picked up. It kind of makes it like, oh, it kind of restores your faith in humanity. You know, it really does. You know.
I kind of wish that I had stories of when I was a kid and I read Batman. It really picked me. I didn't fucking read a book. I still haven't read a book. So I don't have those stories, those relatable stories, unlike you nerds that read books and read these stories and they picked you up during the time. I wish I feel like making up
I don't
stuff.
think it's I think I'm more talking about just the human experience, because I think sometimes things that we do for other people, it's just you being who you are, and it seems so trivial to you, but then to other people it means a lot. They're like, people feel special, they feel like, wow, this person really cares, or like, wow, what a really cool dude, or whatever.
Yep.
You know, you just don't know what your like impact is on the world and the people around you, because I think we all can. I know this feels a little touchy-feely and a little corny, but I think we all kind of in our own way kind of impact the world, and we can impact the world for good or for bad. And not to say that we're not allowed to have bad days, but I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's just, to me, it's like, hey, it's just a comic book or it's a print. Like, I'm more happy to pass it on or share our love with this or do that. Like, you just never know what, you know, you doing something to pick somebody else up will do down the line. Because then it's, you always hope people kind of pass that along. You know?
Yep.
Well, we just talked about it earlier in the green room where James, James talked about that Spawn resurrection that you did.
Yeah.
It seen Spawn in a gurney in the tubes. He saw it differently because, you know, he was there, and it kind of gave him this whole like, and it is very it's this weird sensation that comic book artists and writers and anyone who involved in comic books can change a person's life like that. There is that connection. I'm pretty sure, John, but you've had people going, you know what? You inspired me to draw, and now that's all I do. I want to.
I'm always happy to hear that, because I want to encourage that, because it's like, if you can get your heroes to encourage you to pursue something that you're serious about, then you can always impart it on them. Like, hey, you know, if you're really serious about it, like impart some wisdom. Like, you know, like if you want to get good at art, you know, you got to treat art like a sport. And what I'm saying, treat art like a sport, is like, you know, you have your regular day job, you know, whatever you do for a living. But if you really want to be an artist, then in your mind, you got to say, I'm really an artist. I'm just moonlighting as a construction worker or a waiter or whatever. Mm-hmm. And whatever time you put into work, when you're home, like when I would work construction, I'd get up at 6, go to work, I'd be there by 8, get off at either 5 or 7, go home, eat, spend a little quality time, and then work till about like 1 or 2 at night, get back up, do the same thing again. And And that's the type of dedication that it takes to make it. You got to build a good foundation for yourself. You got to work, put in the time, because, when I meet these kids these days, they want everything now and they want everything easy. And I think this is why AI is such a big deal, because it's easy. And the thing I keep telling you is, like, artists, if you go to YouTube, they'll give away their trade and how they do it for free. The thing that's missed on people is, like, it requires work on your part and a dedication and dedicating yourself to doing it and learning that, instead of just, having it at the button. You don't appreciate what goes into the creative process at that point. And I'm always trying to teach the young people, or tell them, like, hey, look, speak it and believe it, but also you got to put the work in. And, like, it's always work,
Work.
Even when you make it in this industry and you've arrived and your first issue's out and everything's great and you're pouring Kool-Aid over yourself and you're throwing money on the bed and rubbing on it and you're like, I'm so rich, this is great. Enjoy that moment, but then there's that other mountain to climb. It doesn't stop. You want to keep refining your craft and getting better and better and better. That learning process never stops, because you don't want to peak as an artist either. But again, it always boils down to, like, having a good work ethic, hard work, just grinding and getting better and learning your craft.
That's why I like when I see young folks, because I'm old, and I see young folks out there, and they show their work, and I'm drawing it, and just like, you know what? Good, man. That's there's something about that, knowing, because everyone who knows the show, who's fans of the show, is we are so against AI because of people like you, John Boy, and all of our artist friends who put in the work, who have grinded to be where they're at year after year, night after night, hour after hour, to all of a sudden have someone go, let's see, Batman arm wrestling man on the top of the Empire State Building, and then they go, hey, look at what I did, and people are like, wow, that's awesome. He's like, yep, what do you need? I'll make it for you. Yeah. That's the shit that drives me crazy.
Yeah. It drives me nuts. I think my opinion about that is, I'm not totally against AI. I'm against how they sourced it. Yeah. It was basically stolen stuff, and then they just are making money off of it. It's just like music. If you're going to sample an artist's work, you should pay them.
That's right.
AI can be a useful tool if used properly, but I think it's not, the ethics around it is highly questionable, because I've known about this now for probably 5 years, because I live in Silicon Valley. That's what a lot of people talk about. They talk about AI and what's going on with it and what they want to do with it. And a lot of these chodes, these guys, they want to. Well, the reason.
Nice slip in there. I like that.
The reasons are totally selfish, because they're like, well, I couldn't draw, so I want to make it to where anybody can, quote unquote, draw.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like drawing, or people didn't like my art. So I'm gonna do something, and it's kind of like art out of spite. It's like, okay,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
But I think all these companies are now saying, well, we can source all your data. Like, it's letting the floodgates in for people to steal everything. Because, like, if you post photos to Facebook can use that for their AI algorithms to create AI art.
That's right.
Like it's, you got to kind of like, come on. It's like, it's.
So I didn't go to med school. I didn't go to law school, but I'm a doctor. It's like, take a hike.
I know WebMD.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, the Brandon Corey Strait's one of the guys that started up the SpawnCon. And
yeah. I want to go. I couldn't go this year. I wanted to go, but
where is SpawnCon?
It's in Denver. Yeah.
Denver.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon. So hook up with John Boy for next year, man.
There you go.
Are you Denver? Are you?
No. Where are you at, James? You're North Carolina.
North Carolina.
South. Currently.
North Carolina. Oh. Okay.
I bounce between here and Florida.
Oh,
so
okay.
I love Disney too much, so.
Yeah.
I was this close to going to MegaCon next year, and I was like, because Carnivore Comics is like, if you come, you're talking to me and Dale, if you guys come, I'll put a table next to my area, and you could even use my Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's like, great.
Oh, use the Wi-Fi, because that's like fucking gold at a con, right? and
to offer that, like,
I know it is, and it's just something about me. I just like travels, like, I gotta fly. I
think there's something charming about trying to do a live show once a year for you guys at the con and have that kind of like hubbub.
Yeah, because you're the guy. You're like, hey, you should go talk to so and so, see if you can get a booth here at Fan Expo next year, and this and this and that. And I talked to Dale about it. He's like, yeah, I know that guy. I'm like, well, shit. Denver's only 6 hours away on a car and an hour, 10 minutes away in a plane. That's why I went to Denver, because it's the closest one.
Yeah.
Texas maybe, but fuck, even Texas is like 4 rushes in Texas. So Texas is so huge. It takes 17 hours to get there, and I'm in New Mexico.
It's a big state. But I think it'd be cool just to try it once, logistically, see if you guys can do it. So,
I bought an indie graphic novel. I found out later it was AI draw, and I'm so mad that I didn't even get to support artists.
There's a lot of that. You can't trademark or copyright any of that. And I am kind of against like people using AI to do comic book covers too, because
absolutely
you see what happened to the music industry. It imploded when free service happened, and music nowadays is not like it was. I mean, it's got its area. And I'm not knocking
manufactured, I think,
but it's very, and I kind of feel like comics is heading that direction a little bit. And I'm like, dude, I love music. Now, actually, that was a question I was going to throw to you, John Boy. What do you listen to when you're,
I listen to a little bit of everything. I listen to mostly soundtracks or podcasts, like your guys' podcast or whatever. Like,
nice plug.
Noise, like people talking, like artists talking about craft or things like that. I'm always kind of like, wait, what was that? What does he use? Like, what brush do you use? And I'll go and Google it and I'll buy it, and then it'll sit on my desk for like a month. I'm like, oh, I gotta try that brush out. I heard on that show, shit, But I just try to, I don't know, like just have some background stuff just to listen to. I don't do a lot of visual stuff because I have a lot of friends who watch like movies while they're stream, like binge while they work. I'm like, dude, can you get any work done? Like for me, my whole brain has to be really on something when I'm working.
When I'm painting, it's soundtracks actually all day long. I love soundtracks, so I get that.
I'm a movie score guy, right?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So people are like, "Oh, you like?" I go, "No. Score is no. Soundtrack is a little bit different from scores. Scores is
no. I like scores, so I'm similar. Just straight music.
Movie score guy helps me think when I work. My wife's like, I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can listen to anything while you work because it's distracting. But something about movie scores, and for me, it's the more melancholy. The darker the more you want to shove your head in the stove,
in a coffin.
The better for me. I like it. I don't like the Indiana Jones. The John Williams is too.
I like the Hans Zimmer stuff. I used to like a lot of
Hans Zimmer.
Oh,
the best. Now we're gonna go into music real quick. So bear with us, you bunch of nerds. The best movie score out there, and for me, always has been Interstellar. Interstellar movie score is phenomenal.
Man of Steel, I think, is another good one.
Man of Steel is fantastic.
and I like any of the gaming scores.
The gaming.
Oh yeah,
I get friends to do that.
Like Halo.
Well, any of them really. Like League of Nation or League of. Help me out.
League of Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends. Any of their stuff, like especially when they drop all and just keep it at score level, it's really fun.
Oh yeah. Those guys.
If you like Hans Zimmer, look up Max Richter. Max Richter does phenomenal work as well. Very, very dark. It's very melodic, and it just makes me just want to just, like you said, put my head in the coffin and just sit there for a while.
Yeah.
So Tom McDonald works hard, produces and packs his CDs, makes music videos with his girl, and makes money creators. Tom
McDonald's a interesting dude. Let's just put it that way. He's controversial. He shoots it. I believe I'm talking about the right person, and he talks a lot about how he views the world in his music.
Oh, so okay, that's cool. I mean, like I think here's the thing: there's always room for everybody. Like everyone should have their own voice and be able to go ahead. And if you have an audience for it, great. Hopefully, it's not like something that's hateful or anything like that. But because I'm always trying to like keep it positive. But I think everyone has a different purpose. I think that they're here to do, and sometimes people use their music to get their message out, or to talk about something that is on their mind, or that it bothers them, or things like that. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in the world, and it's like, everyone's just trying to do try to do good a little bit, try to change the world a little bit. And I respect that, because I mean, you can always leave it. The idea of like, for me, it's always about just having personal responsibility and not worrying about what everyone else can do. It's more about like, what am I going to do, and where because that's the only I can't make people do anything. The only person I can control is just me. That's it. So it's more about like, what are my principles? What do I believe in? What am I, like stuff like that. What kind of change do I want to see? Well, if I want to help out, then I can do a giveaway and raise money and do like that if I really wanted to. Because I think taking personal responsibility and action is probably the best way to enact change that you want to see, whatever industry you're in or whatever you want to do, whether that's helping people or helping yourself or anything. It's like, no one's going to do it for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no one.
Dude, John Boy, you need to be like my co-host on my positivity crap.
No, it's true though.
Because it's legit, man. You get one shot.
Well,
and you.
Yeah. Well, I think you've got a unique point of view because you've been through something that made you realize that life is very, very short. You know what I mean? And like, you're here and you're gone. And then like we take so many things for granted. Like, you think about like the seasons and you think about summer, winter, spring, summer, fall. Like we take that for granted so much. But like, honestly, when you look about it, like how many summers do we get?
Right.
Really? Like,
don't add it up. It's really
75, maybe 50. I don't know. 100 if we're lucky. I don't know. It's like, that's really short because we're going to be dead a lot longer than we're going to be alive. And you have to realize that, like, we're here for such a short time, but then when we're in the ground, we're probably there for a long time, and it's always, I'm always trying to tell these young people, like, even myself too. And I say this to remind myself, it's just like, there's things you want to do in this world, in this life that you want to accomplish, to put out your own comic or do whatever, enact change or do something. Like, don't wait. Cause like
go do it, right?
Go do it, because put it out there, you know what I mean? And people want to criticize you, like, screw them. Like, you know what? Like, at least you did it,
That's right. That's right. If I want to buy,
never was.
If I want to buy that $5,000 Hulk 181, I'm gonna fucking go buy that.
You know what?
We're back to that. You could have bought it with $14 when you were younger. Just telling you.
The first appearance
when
of
Alpha
Wolverine.
Flight.
Right. Oh, no, I have the first appearance Wolverine. The Hulk.
No.
Here we go. 180, 181
is the first appearance. 180. His preview actually happened in an Iron Fist issue, right?
Well, it depends, right? You could also say the first. You could also say the first Venom was the secret. What is it? The Secret War.
298.
Right.
Oh yeah.
No.
What about Foom? Foom. He was a prototype in Foom.
That's true.
Wolverine.
There we go. All right, so let's get it. Let's kind of change the subject here. So I'm gonna ask a question to you guys and to everybody in the comments. Did you guys already see Loki? You guys finished Loki? We're all set with Loki?
Yeah, we're all good.
Yep.
God, I knew it.
I knew John
Boy.
I saw season 1 and then I dumped Disney because Disney just was just like.
No, I'm kidding. You're good.
You always kill me with the. All right. Well, I'm gonna put this out there.
I'm disappointed with Mandalorian because it's just like it's the Mandalorian.
I didn't even watch that season. I
was just like, what is going on with the like? It's I just like I don't know. I was just like, my wife's like, you don't even watch it anymore. Let's just get rid of it. I'm like, okay.
That is.
So we're not spoiling it for you.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Spoil it. I know what's going on.
Well, I just brought up Loki because it's related to what I'm going to say. But I'm going to ask this to the panel and to everybody in the comments. What's the last movie that you saw? And it could be any movie. What's the last movie that you saw that gave you chills?
Oh, okay.
Or in general,
just like chills, like ooh, that feeling of now I'll go first and give you guys time to think about it. The last time I got the chills was in Loki.
Oh,
and I'm not spoiling anything for you, John Boy, but
no, you go ahead.
At the very last, when he's walking and his clothes are being ripped off and it's revealing the green and the horns, I got like, whoa, I don't know how it was the sound, the movie score, and the way the scene was made and the emotion of it. I got like chills, like the hair stood up. I was like, that to me is it's a guttural, it's an emotional raw of like, damn, that's good, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking. Like many people would say Endgame when they heard On Your Left, right? That could be a chilling moment. Or when Mjolnir got lifted up and it went in Captain America's hand.
Everyone lost their shit. Like,
Stuff like that. Is there
I was like, I knew it.
Is there a scene that any of you guys could think of a movie or past?
So for me, everyone says Endgame, and I just said it, but in reality, I think Infinity Wars, I'll just back up one. When Cap is holding Thanos' hand and he's gritting with all of his might and he's pushing, it was this sense of good versus evil, right? And it's the constant battle of life. And I'm watching that, and I'm not going to lie, hair stood, a little bit of tears fell, this feeling of, wow, this is just a movie. But it really is, like, every day really is this, hey, it's a fight to do the right thing and to be not Captain America, but it's a fight to be who you're supposed to be and not give in to darkness and evil, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I did feel in that moment that Cap was like, I think Thanos was impressed that Cap was actually
yes.
Cap could do that, but I think the Infinity Gauntlet was influenced by Steve Rogers at that point. He was drawing on its power too, I think.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because he knocked him away.
He did.
So it's like,
that scene just popped in my head. You're right. Thanos kind of gave him a look like,
how is he doing this? Yeah, he said,
right. He gave him like,
just
sort of gave him the look of, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Right, like, wow, you're actually standing up to me. You're right, the Mad Titan, the guy who everyone fears. You're like going toe to toe with me. I'm impressed. How about you, James?
Well, it wasn't. Yeah, I just I'll say mine, but on the same vein, when he grabbed the Thor hammer and damn near moved it, that was cool. But honestly, mine is corny and stupid and cheesy, but it's Iron Man 1 at the end when he says, I'm Iron Man. I knew at that moment, from my childhood to that moment, I'm like, the world's changed. And I just will forever remember the music popping on, and I'm like, holy crap, I am alive to see my superheroes come to life.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that with Incredible Hulk, or I enjoyed Blade and all that stuff. But when that moment happened with Tony Stark, I was just like, and Robert Downey Jr., I was just like, the world's changed.
Yeah, we got a real legit superhero movie. You're like,
and then to flash forward to see all the superheroes come together in Manhattan for the first time, I was like, okay, my life's complete. I've lived a wonderful life. This is fantastic. So,
How about you, John? Would you have something that kind of made your hair stand up?
God, nothing recently. I mean, I've had all those moments with you guys where it's like, oh, like 2 drops of pee. You're like, oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ones for me, like, that stood out, like the first few films I watched as a kid, like, watching Alien for the first time freaked me out as a kid. Because, like, that was straight up horror, like, where it's just like darkness and you get a flash of the alien, and you're like, oh, or like Jaws, where you're like in the swimming pool, you're kind of like, is there a shark in here?
Yeah, I couldn't go in a pool.
Man, it freaked me out.
No. And Predator, same thing. I couldn't, like, Predator freaked me the hell out. So.
And then they wanted to, like, I have a bunch of friends, they wanted to watch The Exorcist, so we started watching it, and then that thing freaked me out. I never finished that movie ever. I've tried like 6 times. I can't. It's just like, it's just too, like, okay, this is too freaky. I can't. Like,
What would you guys be surprised if Marvel fired Kevin Feige?
No.
Wow, that was quick.
No. I'm trying to move this along because I have so many things in my head, and I feel like Kramer.
I think the thing about it is Kevin gets orders just like we all get orders, and not to defend his choices, but I mean, there are shareholders that dictate, own a large part of Disney, and they influence on the board of what they want to see. So, there's all these special interest groups that do put pressure on these studios to turn out certain types of content. If not, then they get boycotted and they lose a social credit rating too. That's implemented too. So there's a lot of financial pressure, but I think Iger is course correcting and kind of going against the quote unquote woke thing.
Yeah.
that's being pushed. And honestly, for me, I'm always more about like let creators you hire have their own creative vision of what movie you want them to make.
It's the reason why I say that's because usually when a baseball team takes the shit for seasons after seasons after seasons, who's the first person they fire?
Yeah,
coach.
manager.
Yeah,
the manager.
Yeah.
So
well, the current lineup has not been pretty stellar, but you're taking these C and D list characters and you're trying to market them as A when no one really has a good working knowledge of who these characters are.
Yeah.
Like you kind of blew your wad on Endgame and you got rid of a bunch of all these tier guys that were the heavy hitters for Marvel Universe, and now you're like, you can't tell me that Shang-Chi is an Iron Man or a Captain America. It's just it's not the same thing.
No, it won't happen.
I did enjoy it though. I enjoyed Shang-Chi.
I understand Blue, man. I don't like.
I enjoyed it because it was
as an Asian myself or half Asian. I was like, dude, like his. I do like him. I don't like his tweets. Very
no. Okay,
so he's gotten himself in trouble a few times.
So you don't like
Twitter's the devil.
So you don't like the actor. The actor kind of turns you off.
I don't like the actor. I think just because we have a certain platform, we don't have to say everything. That's on our minds. And I think if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, man. It's like it's.
I'm one of the very few people who actually liked Captain Marvel, right?
I thought the first one was pretty good.
I thought the first one was entertaining. I enjoyed it, but I never said at the end, "Oh God, I hope they make a Captain Marvel 2," right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's, to me, that character, Carol Danvers, is better as a supporting role in other movies as a superhero.
Yeah.
So I never saw Marvels. It just came out on. I'm gonna watch it on my own and make my own opinion.
Is it on Plus now?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I got it another way. But the thing is that I was like, okay, I'm gonna form my own opinion, right? And then after I watch, I could say, well, shit, they were right. What a shitty ass movie. Or, hey, I'll be on the other side of people going, that wasn't as bad as what people thought it was. But nobody asked for the Marvels. Nobody really. We wanted a Secret Invasion, but not that Secret Invasion.
No.
So they've been kicking their own ass with all these movies coming up. The Phase 5 now is coming in. We're like, oh, please, take your time and just make some really good quality movies that we want to watch over and over again and pine for a second one.
Yeah.
Instead of you pumping out shit so quickly. They were like, what another bad disappointment in a Marvel movie. So that's why Gunn is now in the DCU going, all right, guys, now it's my time to shine. While Marvel's going like this, I'm going to try to pick it up on this end and work my magic. Look at my lineup. I'm going to have Superman, The Legacy. We got Swamp Thing. We got, what is it? Constant.
John Boy's favorite creature, Commandos.
Oh.
And that's another thing.
I'll still see it. I'll still watch it.
But I'm not
I want those movies to do well, but
I'm not an animation guy. I don't know what it is about.
So you're not a What If guy?
Oh no, I'll watch
What If is great. No, What If is pretty awesome.
Because Spider-Verse is fantastic.
Because of something about the animation. Someone made a comment, and I forgot who it was, who was not a fan. Oh, it's Gary Gunn. He's not a fan. He goes, I'm not a fan of Invincible, not because of the story. I'm just not a fan of the animation. It's
very violent.
Well, that's great. But the style of the animation.
Ryan Otley's work. So if you don't like the comic art, then you're probably not going to like the comic show.
That is true.
I liked Arcana because the animation to me was like, I was blown away with Arcana because I've never seen anything like it. And it was so deep and dark. So, but if a Creature Commando looks like something from 1987, I'm not going to be as interested.
Well, it's an animated cartoon, which I think is interesting. I think it would have been better if they just actually did a real
life.
Yeah,
I agree. It's kind of like a messed up Scooby-Doo. From what I can tell.
Yeah, kind of a messed up version of the Suicide Squad, even worse.
Yeah,
and then throw GI Robot in there. It'd been awesome. It just. But I think the thing about it is like I feel like a lot of characters were miscast because I think Brie Larson is an amazing actress. I just never thought in my mind that she had the gravitas or the presence to pull off Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel is an intimidating character.
Yeah.
I think someone like a Charlize Theron probably would have done a much better job. I mean, she was Furiosa, right? She was this like, force of nature, and that's what Captain Marvel is. She's a cosmic force of nature. And when you look at Brie Larson, she doesn't carry herself in that type of way. And when she does, it just feels so out of character. You know? And it doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't, the air of believability for me is just in my mind. It's like, I'm not quite on board with this whole next phase, because the only people that you have left are Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and the Hulk. And
we know what they did with the Hulk these past couple.
I think they're erasing all the She-Hulk stuff they did. The She-Hulk will still be around, but I think the whole craziness with that is kind of going to disappear probably. So, because you have to retcon some of it.
Season 2, they got approved. They're making a She-Hulk season 2, so
we'll see what happens.
That show was a little tough for me.
So, what do you think the plan is for Secret Wars then?
I wouldn't even do Secret Wars. I would do, if it were me, I would get back to basics. I would do World War Hulk, and I would do that whole storyline.
Everybody loves the World War Hulk.
But I think
it's so good.
I think Secret Wars is a way to bring back Iron Man and Captain America.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Marvel U. I think
you said they were gone. I think they're coming.
I think they're coming. Well, you know what? You gotta
yeah,
swing for the fences now, because you're losing billions.
Well, they're gonna pay billions to bring them back.
They're banking up. They're banking up the Brinks truck, and those guys is front lawn and going.
152 billion. Disney lost 152 billion dollars since on their almost on all their releases. That's Marvel movies, that's animated films, that's feature. So they need to kind of get back to basics as far as who their core audience is.
Does that scare you as an artist when the industry has changed so much in that direction?
Well, the thing about it is you want a healthy industry, but the thing is, at that level, their executives and people have their own agendas that they want to implement into movies. And whatever social agenda they have, that you have to work it in, because they're the people who are giving you marching orders, and that's what you're making the movie that they're hiring you to make. The thing about that is you have to remember that everything's decentralized now. You have crowd funds, you can release your own movie, you can shoot your own movie, you can do your own comic book, you can do your own animations, you can do anything. And that's where you have these auteur creators now coming out who are doing things completely different. I mean, the movie that just came out, The Creator, was shot on an iPhone, man. I mean, the budget on that movie was pretty low. I mean, Godzilla -1 was shot for less than $10 million, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So things are possible. I think as a creator, if you see something that's underserved in a market, then take some initiative. If you want to be that change you want to see, and put something else out that you feel like it has something to say. Because if you're doing something, what's the point of doing it? Do you just want to do it just to get it out or make money, or do you have something you want to say? You want to add something to the industry that's not being added right now? You know what I mean? Because for me, everything's shifting over to brands, and it's controlled by teams within corporations. It's not a team driven thing, as far as writer, penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, all talking about what they want to do on this book. You know what I mean? It's not that anymore. So, which I think you lose something in that, because we all have something, we all were fans, and we all have something we want to say about those characters. And I think we could, in my mind, I feel like we could do a better job than say corporate could do, because
100%. I think if you're working with your color artist and you're sitting there and going, well, I think this, and then he makes a face, a decision's made on a personal level more than just a corporate level. I love that.
Yeah, I think when you're working with your editor and he's involved with the team process and empowering the team and saying, hey, this is kind of what we want to see, but where do you guys want to take it? Because no one wants to retread. No creator who comes onto a book, and look, we all need to pay our bills and things like that. I understand that. But once you're established, you always want to, when you get to a point in your career, you want to have something to say about the characters you love. Yeah. And you want to put your mark on those characters, because if not, your run's very forgettable. like for us, we got to bring back Al Simmons, and we really wanted to make that count. But in doing that, we were like, look, the two things that were important to me was like, look, I got to be able to draw my own Spawn. I don't want him to look like how everyone else used to draw him, because I have to do something that's a little different, or I'm going to get compared to everybody else.
Right.
And two, we're going to kill Wanda. And Todd's like, you can't kill Wanda. I was like, look, like Wanda, he's been crying about his ex-wife for like 250 issues. Like, dude, it's over. She married someone else. She moved on. I was like, at some point, we have to establish Al Simmons as somebody who doesn't need anybody. He's Al Simmons. He's this force of nature now. Like the heavens to, the gates of heaven and hell are shut. It's just Al Simmons hunting down, fighting demons and renegade angels at this point, trying to clean things up. And the idea, he's not going to be burned up like a weenie. He's mortal again. He's a human, but he has all these fantastic powers. Like, it's more about his journey now. And I don't know if Todd's ever going to do this, but we said, look, it'd be really great at some point, because we seeded that like Wanda and Al had a kid that died in childbirth, but that kid went to heaven. And we wanted to seed it to where we have the new Redeemer is his son, and they team up.
Oh, wow.
But also we wanted to seed it. Paul and I were talking about, like, look, Todd, like, we want to bring Wanda back, and we want to make her the new Angela like character. So
yeah, because that all went down. Yeah, that's right.
We wanted that. We wanted her to become the next Angela like character, to bring her back. And I don't know, a lot of the stuff that we talked about early on with Todd's actually doing now. But at some point, I hope he brings back Wanda as like an Angela type character, because we wanted to kind of make it a union between heaven and hell, where it's all these imperfect characters. It's like Wanda's heaven, his son is the new Redeemer, and also kind of like the heavenly Spawn, and then you have Spawn, fighting hell and doing all this stuff. It would have been like a whole family thing. We were like, hey, that would be great. But
you know what's so cool about that story right there is you literally, I got the feeling of like listening to Todd talk about when he was creating Spawn and Venom, and how he told Marvel, well, I'm going to do this because I'm tired of drawing him in, this way. So we're going to break the panels. We're going to do all this fun stuff. I'm going to do it Todd way. And for you to say that to Todd in Spawn Resurrection, that's just really cool. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just really neat to actually kind of hear that full circle thing almost.
What we wanted to do, but like Todd has ultimate veto power, because Todd.
Well, of course, but
because
the Todd father.
But I guess I kind of got sidetracked there. I went off on the down trail. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you always have something you want to say about characters you read as a kid. Like for me, like, I had something I really wanted to say for Teen Titans, and sadly that never happened, but you want to impart your run on that. Like, it's, the Frank Miller run on Wolverine, it was like a seminal thing, and it did this, or Claremont's run on X-Men did this. You want to have a run, you want to do something with the character that stands up on its own. Like Capullo and Snyder did, Quarter Owls. Every creator wants something like that they can kind of put in their pocket and say, well, I added this layer to the character, because we're all fans, and we want to add something that kind of adds to that mythos and keeps it going and adds that something more mysterious. You know what I mean? Because, like, if I ever got a chance to work on Wolverine, the first thing I would do was I would wipe everyone's memory of him. I would do an ultimate reset. I would do some big cosmic thing where they reset the universe. Everything starts out at zero again. Nobody knows anything. Wolverine doesn't know who he is. Everything starts over again. I would just start off with a clean slate and just do it that way, instead of like having all this multiverse stuff, which is getting kind of out of hand, because it's just too much, right? It's too much. But
it's a lot.
I think having creators go in and add that extra layer of awesome to characters that they've read their whole lives and wanted to contribute to is something that every creator wants to do. And you don't really get that anymore. It's just, you're just a guy drawing the book. That's it.
That's why a lot of guys branch out and do their own stuff, their own publishing, and they're like, I only answer to me. And if I want to draw my character to do this and this and that, and the whole thing is like, well, now you just have to get and draw your own character, start your own brand, get to know your character and start from scratch. And that's where the work comes in, right? That's where everyone else, and we have a lot of artists who create their own characters and stuff like that. And it's a thing, man. Instead of just hopping on to like, well, Spawn is well. First of all, guys, it's 2023. The fact that we're talking about Spawn,
incredible, right?
Right.
Now, it shows you how badass of a character he is. Todd knocked it out of the park with Spawn. When he first came out, people were like, "This is an interesting character," right? I remember seeing the, I remember grabbing it off the rack in 1990. What was it?
Oh, right behind me is the number one of the two books behind me. So
and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so cool," because and then the movie first came out. We're like, "Holy shit, a Spawn movie!"
Yeah,
doesn't hold up that well now. People are still talking about it coming out. It's a whole new reboot. Hope they make it, but don't let Todd direct it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he wants his hands on it because it's his baby.
It did. It doesn't happen in Hollywood anymore. I think he produced and financed that whole first Spawn movie himself, and I think New Line distributed it, right? And but that the model for Hollywood is completely different now. I was talking to Todd about it. Like they won't let him do that anymore.
Yeah,
they're not going to let him do that. Like there's producers. He's gonna have to make compromises on stuff. He's gonna have to put stuff in there he doesn't want to put in because they want to have it's kind of like lending out your wife to somebody, and hopefully by the time she comes back, you still want to be with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We won't talk about that.
They want to be able to kind of like do their own thing with it, kind of do, which kind of sucks. But I mean, that's how things get made now because, studios won't pick up a project that's been self-financed because they have no say in the narrative. They don't, then they have to market it, and then then another studio is probably going to distribute, and they have their own kind of bugaboos about it. It's a lot tougher now. It's just it's a different landscape. It's not like the only way that he can do that is if he completely did it and then crowdfunded it and then shot it himself and then released it through Kickstarter. That's it.
To me, he did it with the animated series. When he did the animated series,
the animated series was a whole different animal.
That and the Max.
Well, I always told him that he needs to approach HBO again and redo that series because that was
unreal.
I was like, you would probably be able to do everything you wanted to do in animation versus.
That's a great point. Yep.
But
it's well. First of all, Brendan's right. Who would have thought in 1990 something we were going to have a Spawn con or a con just based for Spawn, right? So the other thing is, oh shit, I got sidetracked. I pulled a John Boy. I don't know if it had something to do with Spawn. I don't know if it had something to do with the. You son of a bitch! See, this is old.
You're welcome. It's my fault. I'm sure.
Wow.
It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you, man.
It'll come back to me. Well, regardless, Spawn. We're happy for what we saw when it first came out. Remember when his cape was all red and he came off on the thing? We're like, wow, my god.
Yeah, listen, I love that movie, and I feel like that movie actually made Spawn for me. I'm 37. I can. What was I 12 when that came out? 10. 9?
Thank you for making me feel that way.
No, sorry. But like I remember that movie. I probably shouldn't have been watching it. My parents probably didn't know. But like that was like, wow, I love this character. And I look back at it now and the movie is not wonderful. But back then, it was amazing to me.
Oh, and John did such a good job with Violator. I thought he was casted perfect. Now the animation wasn't there, the technology wasn't there.
Right.
But it was.
Oh, that last what's the name of the big guy? The
Violator.
Violator.
No. Violator. Okay.
Yeah,
John Leguizamo. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the big demon at the very end.
Malboja?
You watch that now, and it's like holy shit.
Like CG was still pretty much in its infancy.
It was in its infancy.
Yeah. It's like watching the end of a DC movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude.
I didn't watch any of the new DC movies, so I don't know.
I tell you, well, stay away from
the ending of every damn DC movie. Seriously, they've got to work at that.
It looks like a fun buddy film, buddy superhero.
Jumbo, do you partake in libations?
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah.
Okay, well, have a lot of them and watch Flash.
I did. I watched Flash.
Okay. Sober?
Yeah. Well, like I like.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I kind of wish I wasn't.
There are things about it I like. I just felt like Barry is super annoying. and it's
he
even
is.
better
You know
because
what?
he had to deal with an even more annoying version of himself, and I was just kind of like, I just feel like they should have recast him amid everything that was going on.
I agree. He
Yeah.
was very
Yeah.
then having two of them. Oof.
Oh man, it was.
And then the CGI work was shit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's no bueno. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out in 2024. I'm a big Planet of the Apes fan, so now they have Kingdom or the Planet of the Apes.
That kind of keeps it going too. So yeah, it connects to the other films. So
I love it. You know, Andy Serkis is back with actually he's not back. Well, he might play one of the animals. You never know.
he might be directing though too. He does direct too. So
No, he definitely does.
And pretty well, actually. So
well, he did do Venom too, so you can hold off there.
Well, again, like what you have to understand with those types of movies, there's such an agenda on there. We have Amy Pascal, you have the Sony Studios who are actually managing a lot of things. Like you're just kind of giving your orders to shoot.
You can't do the Venom you really want to do.
Well, yeah, like, I think Tom Hardy's Venom is going to be different from the MCU Venom for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's we'll see what happens. You know, like
then you have Aquaman's coming out this month.
That looks fun to me. It looks like.
Now let's see. I saw Charlie.
I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'll watch it eventually.
Right.
But I can't do it.
Well, the thing I don't like about it is that they've already messaged that this movie doesn't matter. So it's like, well,
right,
it's going to be the end of it. And I'm like, why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that? Like
they're putting the nail in the coffin for sure. That's what they've been doing with the Flash and Aquaman. They're making sure James Gunn has a shot. I think
they don't give a shit. With Jason Momoa doesn't give a flying rat's ass because he's going to be the next Lobo. Simple as that.
Maybe.
You know, I say he's going to be. I'll say it again. You put enough makeup on the guy, change his voice, whatever it is, you even forget it's Jason Momoa. Momoa. Is it Jason Momoa? Jason.
Yeah,
Jason. Yeah. I'm looking at James and I'm saying Jason Momoa.
And I have no problem with him. I think he's great.
You're not even close to. Sorry.
Oh
no, but the thing is, you're right. They're kind of like, all right, whatever. We're gonna be done with this.
Yeah, it's not good from a marketing perspective because then you're already saying like this movie doesn't matter. So if it does great. If it doesn't,
my biggest problem with Jason is he won't work unless he's told, and he literally lives his life by that. And back to work hard and make your life good.
Mm-hmm.
He bucks that idea. That was his whole play to like Chris Hemsworth with the suit thing that went viral there for a second. I can't back that. I think that you're on a platform, and yes, you're doing this whole gypsy thing that you live and love, but dude, people look up to you.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it was different this time around because I think the first movie did get pretty yoked for it, but I don't know. Like I guess I didn't look at it that way, but I'm more concerned about like, you know, studio like publicly saying like this movie doesn't matter and putting it out, and it's kind of like, well, dude, like all these people who worked really hard on that film, it's kind of a big disservice, you know. So, but
that is true.
Yeah.
Well,
can I take a bathroom break real quick? Is that okay?
No. That's why we all wear Depends. You didn't get the memo?
No, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going right now, John Boy.
We'll talk amongst ourselves. Go ahead.
There you go.
Go ahead. You could just leave. There we go. All right. Well, John Boy goes pee-pee. We're going to talk about the other stuff. So earlier we talked about Jonathan Majors. Supposedly the court case is leaning more towards this way with video of him coming out running for his life as his girlfriend's chasing after him. I kind of hope I kind of do hope he does win this case because I like him as an actor. I think he's a fantastic actor. My only issue, though, we loved him in Loki. I thought he was phenomenal. Loki playing Victor Timely, you know, down to the stutter. You know, There is something about what Marvel's doing to Kang that's making us not hate him. So when we watched Thanos, we hated Thanos. We hated him. Some might not. Some people are like, hey, Thanos is the right thing. Let's get rid of half of the population. Start from scratch. I like Farmer Thanos, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We hated the High Evolutionary. because of what he did to the animals, right? I mean, he destroyed a whole planet, doesn't give a shit, right? He created a whole new civilization, and he just blew it away, and we hated him and what he stood for. When you watch Kang in the last Quantumania stuff and what you do Loki, he's kind of likable. You know, it's like
he was sympathetic.
I don't. It's like I don't. Yeah. I kind of don't hate the guy yet. You know, and he did his little thing at the end. I'm like, I still don't hate the guy. They need to. I hope they write him to the point where we're like, oof, this guy. We just want him dead by
No, let me tell you why. And this is a theory again. They want you to like him some because Victor Von Doom is coming, and he's gonna kill him, and then you have to hate Victor. That's my thought. It could be completely wrong.
Oh, so you like Victor, then he's gonna do it. Then we're gonna hate Victor, and then
yeah. Wait,
I just think if they're having problems, they should just recast him. And I think it'd be really great if they had someone like Denzel Washington play an older version of him.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then do that.
They've been wanting Denzel in the MCU for God knows how long.
Yeah,
they've been wanting Keanu Reeves in the MCU for God. He was rumored to be Doctor Strange. He was rumored to be Ghost Rider. He was rumored to fucking be, MODOK. It doesn't matter. They just want him in the MCU.
Yeah. It's got to be the right role, though. I mean, you don't want to, because we were talking about miscasting, with Brie Larson. I just felt like it was a bit of miscast because, I think she would have been a great Black Cat, to be honest with you. Because she
I can see that
because she has more of a kind of a playful nature to herself, and like Captain Marvel's not a jokey type person. She's military. She's pretty much let's kind of like Furiosa. It doesn't mess around. It doesn't she doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of Furiosa, we all saw the trailer for the new
it looked great. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, that looked all, or as Chris the Clown would say, it was all right. All right, because it looked pretty good. I get it.
The new Dune too. The trailer just dropped tonight too. Looked great.
The new trailer, because I saw the early trailer. So
was that an early trailer? I saw the preview. I was like, "Whoa, it looks awesome." So.
I like Dune. I like the first part. It's been so long now. I think I have to go back and watch the last 10 minutes of the old one. The new Ghostbusters Afterlife came out. The trailer for that.
I haven't seen that yet. Is it good?
It looks better than the last one.
I never saw the last one. People said they liked it.
Here's the thing.
We're talking about Afterlife, right?
Yeah,
not the one we don't talk about.
Yeah, even though Marvel's.
It's like Bruno.
Yeah, a lot of those things weren't made for us. It's not made for me. We're not the target audience on that, and I'm fully aware of that. So it's okay, well, that's the reason why it doesn't really appeal to me because I'm not the focused target audience for that, and I always try to keep that in mind. But I mean, there's still something nostalgic about it. You still want to have kind of touchstones of it just I mean. The fact that we still have Ghostbusters movies, I guess, is still kind of a nice thing.
Isn't that cool?
At least,
Is Afterlife the one with the kid from Stranger Things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
and then they're doing a Beverly Hills Cop 4 with the original cast too.
Yeah, apparently it's no, they are.
Are they really doing that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's
Eddie Murphy, Judd Reinhold,
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
Are you kidding?
I don't know if it's true. Don't shoot the messenger, but actually, I think it's called Beverly Hills Cop for Axel Foley.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, now once again, did we ask for another Beverly Hills Cop number 4? No. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, we're gonna get the music again.
Yeah.
True.
Well, now that would be funny if they went straight 80s.
Straight 80s. You guys just gotta go all the
music, right? That would be interesting.
Yeah, they did have Egon at the end of the Afterlife too, so that was.
Oh, well, thanks for the spoiler. Thanks, pal.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, it was already there.
I mean, there we go. Coming to America 2. Did we want another Coming to?
I never saw that. I never saw it.
Yeah, you might not want to. It's okay.
Yeah.
Stay away from it. So that being said, I'm kind of curious. What movie? What remake would you guys like to see made if you had a chance? Oh Jesus, Charlie was like,
yeah, I've been wanting that.
Charlie's been sitting going, God, I hope Caesar asked me what movie did they want to give.
That is my childhood favorite movie. Lost Boy Comics. Okay, I want to see a remake, but I also don't, because if it can't ever add up to the first one. So
Bangarang.
Bangarang.
Crow was cool. I thought Crow, when Crow first came out in the 80s, I
Oh.
thought it was one of the coolest movies.
Yeah, that's hard to not want to see again, but
Yeah.
it is literally, if something happens, if they remake it and something happens on set yet again, you let that one go. That's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that is every movie that they make, something happens.
Ice Pirates.
So
Ice Pirates.
Robert, yeah.
Pirates of Penzance. What about you, James?
let's see, a remake on something probably I'm gonna go corny here. He-Man, correctly
Ooh.
done with all the CG stuff that is in the world.
That movie kicked around so many times that they want to do a remake on. It's been talked about for the past 6 years that they want to make a new He-Man because they just wanted, because the first one. I was a He-Man guy growing up. I had all the toys and all that stuff. So I when the movie first came out, I was like, oh. Then I was like, oh. Even young, I was like, that's not good.
I just want to see Skeletor badass,
like a badass Skeletor, right?
Yeah, just like what a fun character to draw. Skeletor is one of those ones with the skull and the teeth, and you can go deep into it and eyes glowing. You can just have fun with it. So
John Boy,
I'm thinking, man, like
I went to you last because you're a deep thinker.
Yeah, man, I'm like a remake. Honestly, I would say not even a remake. I would just say just do something a little bit more original, because everything feels like a rehash of something else or sequels or things like that. Like we were talking about earlier, it's like, man, do we really ask for this? Do we really need this? I think it'd just be better just to like try to churn out some like new original content.
Well,
since you're an Aliens fan, would you like to see sci-fi then? Like how cool would it be to see like Firefly come back, but not with the Whedon cast or something like that?
I don't like Firefly. I hated it. I'm not, but I'm not it's more of like I don't like Joss Whedon. So
yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, I've heard very bad stories about that guy, just from people who work in the industry. So he's kind of a
he has a history.
Yes, he does. But the storyline of the space cowboys of
I like that. I think Last Starfighter would be pretty interesting. A lot of people said a lot of interesting stuff.
There you go, the Last Starfighter. Boom.
I would like to see a really good, no knock on Jason Momoa. I would love to see a really good Conan, and almost keeping to the original Arnold,
the Oliver Stone script.
Just tweak it with today's CGI and all that. Just a really badass Conan. You know what I mean? And even throwing Arnold in there as like a senior chief or some kind of character, or even the villain. That would be
want them to bring Dutch back from Predator. I think that would be awesome.
Oh, come on now, that's good. I like that.
I always thought that was going to happen. Like he comes in with his team, he's like, "Hey, go to the chopper,"
And you do that good.
But like Sam Smith saying, Johnny Quest would be awesome. Would see that. I don't know. As far as remakes, man, that's tough because it's just like, oh man, there's so many movies. Like maybe a remake would be the new Flash movie, maybe Flashpoint, and do it better.
A real and actual Flashpoint. All right, let me switch it around. What movie do you wish? And I think you might have touched on this already, John Boy.
Mm-hmm.
What movie do you guys wish they would make? Each of you, if you were to make a movie now, and if you were to do a mental and going, I am gonna make, and it's gonna come out next week, what movie would that be?
Oh man.
Now there's already been a couple. Austin mentioned he would love to see a Thundercats live action, right?
Yep.
Let's see what else. You mentioned, John Boy, earlier, Planet Hulk.
Yeah, I think World War Hulk would be
World War Hulk. Sorry, the World War Hulk will be kind of cool.
I would open with that, where he's just like, it just gets back to the like Hulk as a menace, he's like bring back all the classic characters. You can introduce mutants at that point. Like it's just, I think they need something that's actually going to shake up that franchise a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, they're kind of hoping to do that with the reboot of Fantastic Four, and now I just hope this will be the last reboot ever made of Fantastic Four. Do not make it after that disaster that was made last time. So
it doesn't exist. Let's just put it out there.
And I've been saying before, I didn't see the whole movie. I caught the last 30 minutes, and I felt like I didn't have to see anything else. So when you do that, you're
awful.
like, okay, it's awful.
It was really bad.
What about you, Charlie? What do you think? I'll go back to John Boy last because he's
So I'm
he's sketching.
No, my wife was texting me. So
I would love to see a Spider-Gwen movie. I know that's at some point probably going to happen, but I think when I think of something like from childhood that I want to see that I don't remember seeing, like how about Captain Planet or something like that. I know that's out there, but something that
that's never going to be made, Charlie.
I know.
Hey, you know what?
I know. That's why.
Biker Mice from Mars is happening, so there's that
in
the world.
Is. It sure is.
Captain Planet saving the Earth again. Hell yeah!
I will say, I'm a fan of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The first one, as many people didn't like it. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
Anything Sean Connery. I mean, so I like anything. I like that. Battlefield Earth, people are saying, but like the miniseries. I live by the diatribe over the pack of cancer sticks. So how cool would it if I was the movie like me? So what are you thinking, James? What would you like to see?
Something totally out of the box would be, and it's going back to my childhood, would be Ninjak from the Valiant universe done right.
Ooh.
Bring back the whole Ninjak. If they could do Ninjak versus the Valiant universe like they did in the YouTube series, but bring it to the screen with the correct actors.
Series was awesome.
That's what I mean. Like
David Frank was Bloodshot, right? Was he? Yes.
The Jason, Frank there. He was Bloodshot. He should have done it instead of Diesel all day long. He should have gotten that role. But to me, the Valiant universe is an untapped source, and it's so screwed up now because they've sold too many entities of it that I really wish they had kept it and put it to the. There's so many stories there that are.
As a matter of fact, James, show John Boy your tattoo.
Yeah, I do don my.
Yeah, you are wow. Okay.
Yeah,
he likes the Valiant.
Yeah, I think Angelic would be cool. Like that's like an Iron Man character, but it's like a Venom meets Iron Man type thing would be kind of cool.
They were kicking around a Harbinger series, not a movie, but an actual TV series that you know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
The Harbinger Wars would have been fun, but I think it all revolves around Ninjak. Ninjak could have really catapulted that whole thing, and they missed their opportunity. COVID,
small in the universe.
Freaking COVID hit right when they were trying to put that to the universe, and then it just.
Yeah.
And I get so sick of the big wigs selling things off constantly, but it is what it is. So.
John Boy,
I think I've got one. I think since we're digging old school, I would say Thundar the Barbarian.
One of my top favorite cartoons, top 5 favorite cartoons. I grew up with Thunder the Barbarian every single fucking Saturday morning with eating sideways.
There's only 2 seasons too, and I'm just like, what? Really?
How? As a kid, that show went on forever, but 2 seasons?
I know.
So I grew up on Thundar, Herculoids, Birdman.
I like the Herculoids and Space Ghost. Yeah.
Space Ghost.
Birdman,
all that stuff I was in, and I would love to see something to that effect on the big screen and talk about nostalgia, right? But you're right. Thunder the Barbarian,
that would be.
That's a good one.
That's under the Warner Brothers library too. They own the rights to that. So.
Oh man, if we were all executives, how better would the world be?
I know Warner Brothers top wig. I'm gonna stick that in his ear next time I talk to him.
Just, you know what? Record your voice, put it on his headphones when he sleeps.
Yep. And just
you and your son start
stand outside his bedroom with the boombox.
All right, guys, listen, just like that, we're reaching our 2-hour mark. And this is what happens when you get 4 guys talking about geeky stuff, comic books, movies, TV shows, favorite movies, which if it was really up to us, and if we had booze on us, forget it. This would be a 5-hour show and everybody could be in. Now, the funny thing is that
like, Jack, tell us what you really think. You're like, those young people.
I'm like that now. What's wrong with you? So let's do this. I'm gonna put you guys on the main screen. Have you go ahead and pimp your wares. I'm gonna leave John Boy for last. So let's go ahead and move this guy over here and put you in the center there, Charlie, and tell me where to find you, what you got going on, and all that stuff.
Yeah, Charlie with Lost Boy Comics. And honestly, I don't even want to pimp much tonight. It's been an honor with you boys. John Boy, pleasure meeting you. James, same for you, brother. It's been a really awesome show, and I'm very thankful to be here.
All right, look at that. All right, we're going to move old Mr. Comic Uprising here. Over here we go.
Well, same thing, but I will say that I appreciate my Instagram followers and the community. It's really making everything amazing over there. So thank you for everyone over on that side. Caesar, thank you for letting me come on the show and be a co-host. And John Boy, dude, unreal. You have no idea what that Spawn cover actually did for me. So thank you so much for creating that and putting that out in the world. The resurrection is exactly what Uprising is about. It's about bringing, in a weird way, from the bottom to the top. Let's go, and bring positivity to the world. So thank you so much for having me on today. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays.
All right, fantastic.
Hey, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have my website. www.johnboymyers.com. Always great to be here and engage with you guys and talk about stuff that I like to fanboy out on. I don't actually really get to do this much, so I'm always working by myself. So any opportunity to kind of talk with people and like connect with other comic fans is always great. And I'm really thankful to be on the show. Really grateful that you guys had me on. It was really great meeting you guys. It's a shame that Dell wasn't here, but we'll be continued, right? We can do this again some other time when Dell is back, and then we can razz him. Maybe we'll all have our cup of coffee there. We're like, hey.
Are you going to be in MegaCon next year?
Yeah, I'll be at MegaCon. I'll be at Portland MegaCon. I'll be at WonderCon. I'll be doing a whole slew of other shows. So hopefully I'll see you guys at a show. I hope at least maybe MegaCon if you guys can make it. It's such a great show. Definitely worth going to if you guys have not gone. So.
James, you're going, right?
I'm stopping by, John Boy.
All right, right on. Cool. Yeah. Guys,
John Boy, did you end up following me? You son of a bitch.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Hey, all right. Jesus.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
I was making dinner when you were texting me. I was like, okay. Like I was prepping food because
I forget that because John Boy, you're PT time, so you're an hour behind me. Yeah. So it's interesting because I said we going on about you're like it's kind of early. All right, guys. Well, you guys know how to find me. You guys know where to find me at all. I'm here every Wednesday with my co-host Dale Culinary Comics. He's drinking that frappes and getting all worked up. You know where to find me on Instagram, The Real Dracula's Wolf. I can do your promo reels if you want some drama in your reels and promos. I could do that. Yeah. So that's just the way it is. I don't know if you know that, John Boy, but when I do my reels, I originally started with in a world, one man. So cool. People like it. It's a little original.
Yeah, I love it.
Everybody else on the comments, thank you guys for joining. This was a fun time. Whenever we have a chance to kind of geek out, this is the last show, John Boy, the last show of the year. You were on the last show.
Wow, hey. That's awesome. Honor.
It's hiatus time, man. We got to spend time with the families.
We had Ryan and Shannon Kincaid on there. Anna Zal stopped by.
We get all the guests. We got all the special people jumping.
Yeah, you guys got you had a good audience. A lot of good comments. Everyone's chatting. It's like, wow.
Sometimes it gets so hot that the Ryans and the Aaron Bartlings would jump in, and the Zavalas would jump in, and they're all just are regular Anna Zal. I mean,
that's awesome. Yeah.
That's all stuff. But next, I think tomorrow we may or may not have the movie review with Shannon Kincaid and Mandy, Murat's significant other.
Yes.
So that might go on tomorrow. Not quite sure yet. Depends on how we feel. If we do not see or talk to you guys, have yourself a safe and happy holidays. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Be safe out there. What I always say on my Instagram stuff, don't be a douche. That's all I ask. Honestly, don't be a douche. That's all we ask. If everyone's a douche, we're going to be all right in this world, right?
That's
So other than that, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next year.
Happy holidays.
Have a good
Happy
night,
holidays.
boys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Yay.